Welcome to Behind the Blog with Tammy Neely. Today we're speaking with Piper Martin, our influencer coordinator. Piper wrote this week's blog and we're going to dive in a little deeper. Thanks, Piper.
Thank you.
So when an influencer has a blog, what kind of credibility does a blog lead for an influencer?
So you own that piece of the internet. That's your little corner of the internet. Your deal, you can do whatever you want with it. Let's say you built up your entire business. You know, for influencers, working online is their entire business. They don't. Some don't have 9-to-5 jobs, some do. If anything were to happen to, say, Instagram or Facebook, any of those platforms were to be no longer, they wouldn't have that business or that credibility that they built up, spent years doing. So having that, you know, your little place on the internet, you know, your blog, that's something that you control, and it wouldn't necessarily go away unless your blog host site does. I don't foresee that ever happening.
So for creators today who don't have a blog, maybe they're just on Instagram, how would you walk them through, how do they get more eyes on their blog?
So influencers will use swipe up features on their stories on Instagram a lot. If they're trying to drive traffic from their socials to their blog, they can have that swipe up feature go directly to their blog. Sometimes they'll be like, hey, I linked, you know, this thing that I'm wearing or this thing that I'm talking about on my blog, and then you click through and get those conversions from there. I think a good resource too to having a blog is a lot of people can sign up for email notifications when you do post a blog post. I'm signed up for my favorite bloggers.
Tell me, who's your favorite
I
blogger?
did name drop her. Sivan Ayla is my favorite blogger. We talk about her a lot around here. I'm signed up for her email list. So when she publishes a new blog post, or she has, you know, like their newsletters, basically. She calls it a newsletter. Her newsletter of all the things, you know, she was wearing that week, and she can link it in that email. It goes directly to my inbox, and if I want, you know, oh, I want that rug that she was talking about, I can click it directly from the email. It'll take me to her blog, and then I can convert the sale from there. So let's say the retailer of the rug would really want to invest and get into my inbox without me having signed up, you know, subscribed to their mailing list.
So you're talking about conversions, you're talking about brands showing up in a consumer's inbox. Brands are measuring that. That's important for how they measure the performance of a campaign or a program. Talk to me a little bit about those performance metrics. How do you measure performance with a blog?
So blog is actually really cool because they can, influencers can get their actual views and their, you know, actual clicks, not just an estimate. With social channels, it's really hard to see, you know, how many people did that post actually reach. We can, at this point, there's some metrics that you can see, you know, okay, you were exposed, you know, this post was exposed to this many people on Instagram based off of, you know, search. The post showed up in your browse section. But it's still kind of limited to how many people actually saw the post versus how many people actually interacted with that post. Whereas bloggers can see exactly every click you make on that site. So like you clicked on that rug and you were taken to this other website, or you clicked on the About Me page and read, you know, this far down the page. They can see, you know, how far down the page someone clicked away, like how far down your blog post you made it. So I think with having those actual metrics with blog posts, brands are, you know, valuing the actual views and how the campaign actually performed versus just estimates with social platforms, if that makes sense.
It does. And so blog form is really long form content. You're not limited to 140 characters.
Totally.
People aren't going to scroll through your whole caption on your photo on Instagram. So it feels like bloggers might be able to charge a bit more than if they were to just post on Instagram, because the content is that much longer. You can create these SEO opportunities. You can really plug in those keywords and really drive people to purchase.
Yeah, bloggers I've seen charge by the word sometimes, you know, word count. And so, of course, the longer the blog post is, the more time consuming it is, the more they should be charging for it. With Instagram, you know, Instagram consumers don't really go to Instagram to read this long paragraph about, you know, whatever it is you're talking about. Whereas if blog posts, you have to click through to that post, like the title's gonna grab you, you know, like 10 reasons why I shop on said site. You're gonna click on that and see, okay, why do I need, you know, here's 10 reasons why I need to be shopping on that site. You're not gonna, you know, if you saw 10 bullet points on an Instagram caption, you'd swipe right past it. And so I think it's really important for brands to be recognizing that blogs are, you know, not forced upon someone to be read. They're clicked through to be seen, you know.
And it feels like the engagement is really, really authentic in a blog. People are going there intentionally to find something. And like you said, you can track how far they read in it. And those metrics are so valuable to a brand.
Yeah, you know, the influencer has more room to expand and show more of their voice. You know, influencers on Instagram don't really want to expand and make these super long captions. You know, expanding their voice and talking, you know, rambling more on and on and on. Some do that and it works for some of those people. People just starting out, you know, you have to catch your audience's attention. Why do I care? Why am I reading? Whereas with blog, you go there for a good read. You go, you know, for, I want to know, you know, how were you led to this brand and why do you think it's a good idea for me to be purchasing and stuff like that.
So if there's a creator today who has a significant Instagram following, or maybe even they're just starting out on Instagram and they don't have a blog, is it too late to get started?
No, never too late.
Okay.
I think it's almost easier, of course, with the higher following to create a successful blog. You've already captured those people. It's harder to keep people's attention on Instagram than it is on a blog. Okay. So you've already got those people's attention on Instagram, and converting them over to the blog, it's just sharing more of yourself. Those, you know, followers are always looking for more. Like, tell me more about yourself. What can I learn from you? And so with the blog, you're getting a bigger picture of the influencer, essentially. So I think it would be easy to create a successful blog if you already have a good Instagram.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us today, Piper.
Of course.
I look
Thank
forward
you.
to more like this. So to read more from Piper, join us at findyourinfluence.com/blog. See you next time.